In 264 BC, Rome would meet its first challenger outside of the peninsula, Carthage. They would fight a grueling 23 years. Rome, despite high casualties, would come out as the winner, initially taking Sicily. They would later take Corsica and Sardinia. Rome would establish itself as a dominant power in western Mediterranean, and Carthage would now have a rising power in the backyard, cementing a long rivalry and enabling Rome to continue expanding across the Mediterranean. But what if things were different? What if Carthage won the first Punic War? If you want to continue seeing more from me, like and subscribe and comment down below. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would appreciate it if you subscribe. Now on to the video. In order for Carthage to win, we need to see what they did wrong. Carthage would fail to fully fund their military, relying on foreign mercenaries. To save money, they would reduce and stall payment as they would hoard their wealth, which would negatively affect Hamilcar Barca's campaign in Sicily. Their refusal to fund their army allowed Rome to rebuild their navy after it had been destroyed, allowing Rome to gain naval dominance and ultimately defeat Carthage. Carthage would severely underestimate Rome, thinking that it would be a minor conflict in Sicily, not expecting the Romans to be willing to take huge casualties in building and rebuilding their entire navy to fight against Carthage. Seeing what Carthage could have done, let's now implement it. In this alternate scenario, we will have Carthage recognize Rome as a rising power and take them as a serious threat. During the war, they would fully fund their army, seeing the loss of Sicily as a huge economic loss, one that they were not willing to take. With their funded army, they continue attacking Rome, not allowing Rome to rebuild their army after it had been destroyed, allowing Carthage to defeat the Romans. Now that we have discussed the faults of Carthage and what they could have done to win, let's now see how Rome loses the First Punic War. In reality, Rome won the First Punic War through their sheer tenacity and their ability to construct a navy and rebuild it after it had been destroyed. They would defeat Carthage. In order for Rome to lose, we need to look at their tenacity. Rome had lost over 100,000 men in sea storms. This was just many of their casualties, as the entire war they would lose 17% of their population during the war. Their navy was also destroyed in those same storms. And lastly, Rome's reconstruction of their navy, as I said before, had been destroyed in sea storms. The only reason why they were able to rebuild their navy was because the patricians paid for Rome's new navy after the treasury had been depleted. So now in this scenario, after suffering devastating losses at sea and the war in general, the patricians don't pay for Rome's new navy. With no money to fund a new navy or to continue the war, and with the sheer loss of men, the Romans would agree to a treaty. Now that I have discussed what Carthage needs to do to win and what Rome needs to do to lose, let's now put it all together. In 264 BC, tensions between Rome and Carthage would break out into war. Carthage would fund its army properly, in particular funding Hamilcar Barca's campaign in Sicily, allowing Hamilcar to fend off against the Romans. In 255 and 249 BC, Rome would effectively lose its entire navy due to storms. Without anyone to pay for a new navy and the sheer casualties they have faced, all the while Carthage pounces at a weakened Rome and would continue the pressure, leading to Rome to agree on a peace treaty in 241 BC. In the peace treaty, Carthage would fully conquer Sicily, Corsica, and Sardinia, and Rome would have to pay tribute to Carthage. In the aftermath of the war, Rome would be restricted to the peninsula. Roman expansion in the Mediterranean would be halted, as Carthage would have complete hegemony in western Mediterranean. But eventually Rome would rebuild and would eventually go to war with Carthage again. It's from here where the scenario ends, as it's difficult to say who wins in this alternate Second Punic War. But considering Rome was humiliated in the First Punic War and seeking vengeance for their loss, it's likely Rome would defeat a now overconfident Carthage. But history will also be changed, as these decades will leave Rome to focus on the West and not on the East like they did in real life, likely allowing another power to rise in the East without Roman intervention. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing more from me. And comment down below if you agree or disagree with this scenario, or what are some things you would change. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.